From Columbus, the center of Ohio, welcome to A Songs at the Center Master Series Edition, featuring Grammy Award winner Marc Cohn, with Glenn Pacha and Joe Bonadio. Major funding provided by The Ohio State University, James Cancer Hospital, and Solov Research Institute. No two people are exactly alike, and neither are their cancers. At the James, we believe there is no routine cancer. Learn more at cancer.osu.edu/cancer. Additional funding provided by the Academy of Country Music Lifting Lives Program, the Ohio Arts Council, and France & Associates.
Welcome to Songs at the Center. I'm Eric Gnezda. We're pleased to be coming to you from our home, the Peggy R. McConnell Arts Center of Worthington. In this episode, we're proud to present another master series in which this time we feature Grammy Award-winning singer-songwriter Marc Cohn. Marc, it's great to have you with us. And you know, we're based here in Ohio, and we're particularly proud and privileged that a fellow Ohioan has done so well and known all over the world. And we're very pleased that you're with us. You've said many times that music's been a part of you since you can remember, and that you were really motivated by a couple things. Number one, you've always loved music. And second of all, always felt a deep need to express yourself and connect with other people through music. Has that changed at all for you? Has it evolved?
Yeah.
What's happened?
Yeah, I would say some of it hasn't changed, but it has evolved. It's a different experience now that I'm 57 than when I was 27 or even 7, which is already when I loved music. I had an older brother that played piano with his band in our basement. He was a really great piano player. And I got to hear Ray Charles and all kinds of music live, you know, with my brother playing it correctly. So I had an immediate attraction to it because it was so personal at the beginning. And then as I became a writer and really, you know, started to hear the music that inspired me and made me want to do this, some of those people that were my heroes have become friends. So that's a lovely change and evolution. And I hope I keep getting better as a performer and a singer, and hope to keep evolving in that way for as long as I'm doing it.
Well, the world knows you, of course, from your huge hit. There's songs that are signature songs, songs that are career songs, and then there are songs that are iconic songs that span generations. And Walking in Memphis is one of those tunes that everybody covers it, everybody loves it. But this really came, that song really kind of came out of a fallow period for you, and you took some advice from James Taylor before you'd even known him, and that was to do a geographic. Exactly. What does that mean?
A geographic was get the hell out of your hometown for a few days, out of familiar surroundings. Go somewhere you've never been. Take a bus, take a train, put your guitar or your keyboard in the trunk of your car, whatever, and just go somewhere new. And according to him, it had worked for him many times that when he really felt like he was having writer's block, that's how he would open up his sensibilities, to just put himself in an unfamiliar place or situation. And I thought, well, might as well give that a try. And I was lucky enough to already have a career of sorts as a session singer, where I met Jimmy Webb and Lieber and Stoller, and a magical time. But I decided I would travel a little bit, and on the advice of my first wife, I went to Memphis. She had friends there, and they took me all around to Graceland and to hear Al Green preach at his church. And I met this woman, Muriel, who is mentioned at the end. Right. And she became a real central figure in my life, both as a friend, a muse, and an inspiration.
Well, we'd love it if you'd play that song for us.
I'd be happy to.
Thank you.
On the keyboards, great singer, songwriter in his own right, Glenn Pacha. On percussion, one of my favorites, Joe Bonadio. Put on my blue suede shoes, I boarded the plane, touched down in the land of the Delta Blues, in the middle of the pouring rain. W.C. Handy, won't you look down over me? Yeah, I got the first class ticket, but I'm as blue as a boy could be. Then I'm walking in Memphis, walking with my feet 10 feet off the beat, walking in Memphis. But do I really feel the way I feel? Saw the ghost of Elvis on Union Avenue. I followed him up to the gates of Graceland. Then I watched him walk right through. Now security did not see him, they just hovered around his tomb. But there's a pretty little thing waiting for the king. She's down in the jungle room, walking in Memphis, walking with my feet 10 feet off a beat, walking in Memphis. But do I really feel the way I feel? They got some catfish on the table. They got some gospel in the air. Gospel in the air. And the Reverend Green, he'd be glad to see you. When you have not got, I said you have not got a prayer. But boy, you got a prayer in Memphis. Now Muriel, she plays piano every Friday down at Hollywood. And they brought me down, they brought me down to see her. And then they asked me if I would do a little number, and I sang with all of my might. She said, tell me, are you a Christian child? And I said, ma'am, I am tonight, walking in Memphis. I was walking with my feet 10 feet up a beat street, walking in Memphis. But do I really feel the way I feel? Well, I'm walking in Memphis. I was walking with my feet 10 feet off the beat, walking in Memphis. But do I really feel the way I feel? Put on my blue suede shoes and I boarded the plane. Touched down in the land of the Delta Blues, in the middle of the pouring rain. I touched down in the land of the Delta Blues, in the middle of the pouring down rain.
You've been touring lately with just a trio.
Yeah.
You and Joe and Glenn, and it provides an interesting presentation because it preserves the intimacy of the singer-songwriter that you're after, but there's enough sweetness going on in the background.
And groove. Just enough groove, too.
Yeah, enough groove, that's right.
That's important, too, yeah.
But great musicians do not draw attention to themselves, and I think that's
True.
what makes Joe and Glenn so fascinating.
Couldn't agree more. I mean, they're each brilliant at what they do, and I love playing with this trio. I've played with lots of different configurations, mostly duo over the years, sometimes a bigger band, sometimes a quartet. We have a great guitar player who plays with us. But this trio seems pretty, just sort of delivers the essence of what I do, I think, really well.
Has it taken you a long time to find that chemistry with other musicians?
Well, usually by the time I got out on the road with someone, I felt good about them musically. You know, it takes time till you get to know them as people, and that's an important part of it. I think an audience can sense if the people on stage enjoy what they're doing and each other. So I think it's important. You can't really fake that. So it takes a while until I feel like this trio has played a lot of shows, and it might be just the last 20 or 30 where I feel like we hit a groove. That
Wow.
some of the songs have just slightly been altered by mistakes also. And then it was, wait a minute, let's use that. So there's about 5 or 6 songs now that we've been playing for a long, long time that all of a sudden feel like they've gelled, and they sit in this really comfortable place rhythmically and just overall dynamics.
Now, speaking of which, you've worked with Bonnie Raitt. In fact, you opened for her for quite a while, and
Yeah.
one of the things that you learned from her was that she does something to keep the show fresh for herself,
Right.
night after night after night.
Right.
And you do the same thing. What kinds of things do you do, that keeps the groove that you guys have worked on, but you make it new for yourself so it's fresh for the audience?
Well, first of all, I mean, I learned from standing on the side of the stage and listening to Bonnie 100 times. She slightly changes things every night for herself vocally, little subtle changes that the audience doesn't know it's any different than the night before, the week before, but I did because I'd been listening every night. And I thought that's part of how she must keep herself engaged. At some point after I've sort of gone through my first 4 or 5 choices for an opening of a show, at some point after that, I open it up to requests. I want to know, there's somebody out there who came to hear something that you wouldn't ordinarily play. It's many people every night. And I kind of invite them and say, we all know I'm going to do Memphis. We all know I'm going to do whatever, True Companion, whatever songs. But is there anything out of the ordinary that you really came to hear? Because I may not be back for a year or 2 or 3.
Well, Bonnie appeared on the Rainy Season.
Yeah.
And one of the songs from that album is Don't Talk to Her at Night.
Right.
And we'd love it if you'd play that one for us.
I'd love to do that one. That's a good example, actually, of one that after some time has found its rhythm.
Don't talk to her when shooting stars are falling. Don't talk to her when she can smell the jasmine in the air. Don't talk to her when no one knows you're calling. You might just say the words that keep her waiting there. Don't talk to her when she is softly sleeping. Don't wake her to the sound of your voice whispering her name. Don't tell her all the secrets that you're keeping. Don't tell her that you're drowning in a river of shame when the wolf is howling underneath the moon, underneath the window of a hotel room. Burn the blanket, shoot the light, but don't talk to her at night. Don't talk to her at night. But don't talk to her in thunder or in lightning. But don't talk to her with fuses blown and wires falling down. Don't talk to her when the fever is frightening. When she's burning in her bedroom in an evening gown, or when the wolf is howling underneath the moon, underneath the windows of a hotel room. Better burn your blanket, shoot the light, but don't talk to her at night. Don't talk to her at night. You better not talk to her. When the wolf is howling underneath the moon, underneath the windows of a hotel room, better burn your blanket and shoot the light, but don't talk to her at night. Don't talk to her at night. You better not talk to her at night. Don't talk to her at night.
Well, in 2005, you were in Denver. You just gotten done with the gig, and you're driving with your band, and something life-changing happened. Would you care to tell us about that?
Yeah, I was coming back from a show at a place I love called the Botanic Gardens. People are seated all around you. You feel very embraced at that venue. It's outdoors. And we got into the van to go back to the hotel when the show was over. And I noticed sort of this chaos out of the corner of my eye. There was a man running in the distance. And I sort of just flippantly in the van to my band members, and my tour manager was driving. I said, I wonder who that guy's running from. And about 10 seconds later, this figure appeared right in front of the van, while it was still moving. So we almost hit this man. And I was the first one to recognize it. He lifted up a gun, shot it through the windshield, almost killing my tour manager who was driving. He was a carjacking. He was trying to get the car and get the hell out of town. But it went through the windshield, grazed the chin of my tour manager, Tom, and then without me even feeling it or knowing it for several seconds, it lodged in the soft tissue in my left temple. And blood was streaming down. That's, of course, when I knew what was going on. But unbelievably, I didn't lose consciousness, because there is just a little bit of tissue where it was just a hole. So it didn't graze my head, it went in. But it just stopped like that, short of my skull. Obviously, I was very unlucky. I was in the wrong place at the wrong time to experience that. But everybody that saw me and talked to me over the next several hours just couldn't believe I was alive, because most, these policemen don't answer calls that say bullet wound to the head and find somebody living, usually. But yeah. I was one of the unlucky ones that night.
And you said you emerged from that with a new sense of gratitude.
Yeah, well, that sort of does tie in with what you were asking me about, the music business these days. And that's when things changed for me. It didn't matter about the music business anymore. It was, I think that made me realize, well, first of all, I knew I had to cancel the rest of my tour, obviously. And as the weeks went by, then Hurricane Katrina happened. And that was a pretty horrifying thing to watch for anybody. But I was in a really fragile state myself. So watching that footage was particularly unsettling. And I just started to write. We talked about music as healing. I needed some healing personally. And as always has been the case, and this was the same, it got me back to needing to express myself. So I wrote a whole record called Join the Parade with songs about fate and chance. And It had to do with Katrina, had to do with my shooting, lots of songs about life and death.
Well, one of the tunes from that album is Listen to Levon.
That's right.
Yeah.
That Listening to Levon is the first track on that record. It's a little bit different of a subject matter, but Levon was one of my heroes, Levon Helm from the band. I was lucky enough to play and sing with him a couple of times before he passed away at one of his midnight rambles and a couple other concerts. And then sadly, I even sang at his funeral. But I think he was one of the greats, and I really like this song I wrote as partly an homage to Levon, but also a song about young love.
Well, how about playing it for us?
I'd love to.
I was sitting with Mary in my dad's blue Valiant. Rain was coming down and the radio was playing, and Mary was talking 1,000,000 miles a minute, but I could not hear one word she was saying, because I was lost, I was gone, listening to Levon in another place, in another world. Yeah, I was lost, I was gone, so gone, listening to Levon. I was looking at the girl, but I was listening to Levon. Mary's hair was black, that much I remember. Mary's skin was smooth, I remember that too. And she'd open her eyes, but sometimes when she kissed me, I don't know why she did that. Maybe Mary knew that I was lost. Yeah, I was gone, so gone, listening to Levon. Yeah, in another place, felt like I was in some other world. Yeah, I was lost, I was gone, listening to Levon. I was looking in Mary's eyes, but I was listening to Levon. I changed her name to protect the innocent, and I might have even lied, oh yeah, about the car. But this is just to say that I'm sorry if I hurt you. But Mary, if you're out there, well, you know who you are. Sorry, baby. Well, it serves me right if you can't even hear me singing, if you've tuned me out a long, long time ago. And it serves me right if you've already changed your station and you're listening right now to Rag Mama Rag on the radio, yes. 'Cause you're lost and you're gone, so gone, listening to Levon. Is in another world, I praise in a better place. But me, I'm lost, I'm gone, listening to Levon. And I still see that smile upon his face while I'm listening to Levon.
Well, the world's certainly grateful for you and your music, and we are very privileged that you joined us today.
Thanks for having me. I had a great time. Thank you.
Thanks for joining us on Songs at the Center with Marc Cohn in this Master Series episode. Come visit us in Ohio sometime, where you'll always find Songs at the Center. I'm Eric Gnezda. We'll see you next time.
Major funding provided by The Ohio State University, James Cancer Hospital, and Solove Research Institute. No two people are exactly alike, and neither are their cancers. At the James, we believe there is no routine cancer. Learn more at cancer.osu.edu/cancer. Additional funding provided by the Academy of Country Music Lifting Lives Program, the Ohio Arts Council, and France & Associates. Learn more about Songs at the Center at songsatthecenter.tv.